Hello.
Hi, Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I sent an email with volume 4, which is,
Yeah, I got it.
and then the minutes. So those are the two things for tonight.
And then the what was the other one, did you say?
The minutes.
Oh, yeah, I got those too. All right, hold on a minute. Let me share. Here we go.
Okay.
So I want screen 2 is what I want. Okay. So this is what the last thing you sent. This is the one you
Honestly, it's not on the screen yet.
it isn't on the screen yet.
Yeah.
How about now? You see it?
Yeah. Yeah. I sent a different thing, Paul, that was
Wait a
volume
minute.
4.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You sent, let's see, library, this one. This is the
Hi,
one?
Nancy.
Oh,
Yes.
no, wait.
Yes. That's
That's
the
it?
one.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. So I'll just leave that.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Because this puts it together. And there's two things I need to bring up. One is the library, and the other one is the what is it, Lynn? It's highlighted. It was one of the clawbacks. I had a nice note from Trish saying, please don't claw it back. It's at the very end. Hello, Austin. Hello, Nancy.
Hi.
Nancy, while we're waiting for the folks to join in, I sent you a text about coming over tomorrow at 4, but it turns out I cannot do that. I could come Wednesday morning. This is about your railings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're
I'll
welcome.
email you separately.
Okay, please do. Yeah.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And I also looked at the stairs to the stage here. We'll need a good carpenter because it's complicated.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
Yes, it is. It's got little curves and fun
Right.
things.
That's a problem with old stairs,
Yep,
curves.
curves. I hope we get a quorum.
Do we need 5 for quorum?
Huh?
Do we need 5?
We are a committee of 6.
Yeah. But I thought
I
4 was enough.
I defer to my betters.
I don't
I
know.
say it's plenty, don't you? Anyone here?
This looks like a quorum to me.
Oh, I love that, Nancy. Thank you. I'm taking that. So actually, with that, let's call the meeting to order for the Nahant's Community Preservation Committee. Joining us tonight are Nancy Catalmo, Paul Spurn, and Austin Antrim, and Lynn Spencer. We could start. Oh, here comes Ellen. So Ellen, we are starting, but we are now joined by Ellen Goldberg. So we're starting with the minutes from last week. Thank you, Austin, for sending those out earlier today.
You're welcome. Those were fairly easy ones. I can keep minutes tonight as well.
And I'm going to try my best to make it really easy tonight, too. Okay. Well, I would happily entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I would like to make that motion, Nancy, to
I
accept.
forgot. Yeah, I
minutes.
forgot. Thank you. we'll take a second on that, and then I'll ask if there's any corrections. Forgot about that. Any corrections or edits? Then I'll look for that second.
I second.
All those in favor? Ellen,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, we're good. I have another town hall joining us. That's
That would
Tony.
be-
That's me.
That's Tony. Oh, Tony, I was trying to give you a night off. Come on.
You said it was gonna be a quick meeting, so,
Okay.
I'll save my night off for the long ones.
All right, well, very good. So Paul, would you kindly put up volume 4 of our,
Okay, let me see if I get it right
Articles.
now.
okay,
Let's see. No, that's 3. Hold it.
right.
And that's 4.
Okay, so if you will scroll down to the library article. Okay, so, all right, that's good. So what I've put in here is we got advice from thanks to Allison and Tony from Bond Council. And I think earlier today you saw their suggestions. I'm concerned about the way the articles are presented in the FinCom's report to the town meeting. And Tony and I've had a little bit of an exchange on this, but I'm showing what it might mean subject to bond council review and of course the Board of Selectmen and Tony, what it would mean to take that initial shorter statement about $700,000 and append to it how that appropriation is being funded. So if you will, I probably should have, if you go to the 4th line down, if you go to the phrase, oops, stop, go back a little bit, Paul, you're doing so great. But where it stops with a semicolon, that was the end of the article as it was offered to us by Bond Council.
I don't see a semicolon.
After there too, there's a semicolon.
There too, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
So what you
There-
added was
The
this,
rest, yes, I added the rest of the story
how far
um,
down?
all the way.
Okay.
Thank you. That's great. So basically I took this from what we've been discussing in terms of how the funding is being arranged. $200,000 from the free cash, which is being dealt with in a prior article, and then the balance being a bond. So Tony has suggested, and then I actually included the whole of our very long, and I will say it's perhaps too long, supporting statement. Tony has suggested another way of doing this is to actually show how that appropriation is being funded in the supporting statement. I just don't want our voters to think, oh, we're coming up with $700,000 on our own. So
CPC alone.
yes, exactly. Exactly. And as you saw, if you had a chance to read the very thoughtful correspondence that Allison and Tony gave us, if that $200,000 article doesn't get approved, then there will be a motion to amend on the floor. So instead of saying $700,000, it will say $500,000. Have I captured that correctly, Tony?
Yeah, yes, pretty much nailed it. This change, that's where one of the questions is gonna come in with this change and that scenario you presented. That's where we have to talk to bond counsel. So
Mhm.
the previous version, or the part that's not highlighted on your screen, the article basically just presents the topic of discussion that will be brought up at town meeting. The motion thereafter is the binding commitment under law. So if things change when you're having a discussion on any topic during town meeting, you're not, the article is general enough that it allows you to have that flexibility on the floor. Where if it's listed like this, my question to bond counsel, my first question is going to be, if Article 6 doesn't pass, could we put a motion forward that just speaks to the borrowing of the 500,000 when the article is referring to the 200,000 from free cash? So I just have to understand from them, like, if that's doable. I think it would be. You can't go more, but taking away, I think, is a little bit easier to do. So that's what I want to ask bond counsel. So, but yeah, you had it right before. If it just had the 700,000 in there, the motion would say 200 from free cash, 500 through borrowing. And if things changed, if Article 6 didn't pass and we didn't have the 200,000, then the motion would simply just be to borrow 500,000, and not speak to the free cash amount. So that's, generally speaking, bond counsel always comes back with, have the article be broad. Your motion is specific. If they're okay with this approach, then we could add this in there too.
May I
So my
ask a question?
Yeah, sorry, please,
Um,
Nancy.
will this topic in these reasons be brought up in other form before the meeting, like when you talk to people, Tony? Will you explain this stuff beforehand, or is this the first
Yes.
time they're going to see this?
Yeah, so you mean like public engagement and
Yes.
general public? Yeah, so I spoke to it at a previous selectman meeting, at FinCom meetings. We'll speak to it at future, Board of Selectmen or FinCom meetings. I'll be doing a community breakfast. I'll hold public forums leading up to town meeting. It'll be explained in the book as well. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So my concern is I don't want readers, because the motions are not published in quote, we'll call it the book.
Really?
So no, they're not.
Okay.
And
I
in
believe you.
fact, I asked Allison to send a copy of last year's just to double check.
Mhm.
So there will be a recommendation and it may be, that will be transferred to a motion, but it's not a motion. So I'm concerned that we would be putting forth $700,000 and, the person who's reading quickly may not then kind of grasp, well, what could be laid out in the supporting statement as to how that's being funded. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hand-wringing.
No, I don't think you are. Under this heading of library bond, what do we call the first paragraph?
That's the article.
That's the article. Okay.
Well,
Not the
if bond
motion.
counsel is okay with the way you're presenting this edit, then it solves the problem. If
Yeah.
they are not, then I think the alternative is, as I wrote in the email, is, putting it maybe right at the beginning of the supporting statement,
Mhm.
Explaining. I think you have it later in the supporting statement now, maybe just moving it up to the top so people see it.
Yeah, I actually took out the 200,000 thing later, but yes, I could rework this, Tony. And I think that would be the appropriate thing. If the committee feels the way that this is presented for consideration to bond council and ultimately to FinCom and the Board of Selectmen, then I'm good with that. If bond council comes back and says, no, 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 don't do it this way, then I'll look at rewriting the supporting statement.
Well, I think as soon as the alternative funding sources is discussed, the sooner the better in this whole discussion. And if I could demur for just a second from this discussion and ask you, Tony, how is the $200,000 in free cash going to be presented? And is there intrinsic in that presentation, the invitation for anybody and all to stand up and say, let's build that ice rink or whatever?
No, it's limited to this article. There's, that you couldn't amend this article, or just create a new article, at town meeting, or amend some other article motion to use the 200,000 differently. It's either it gets spent on this or it doesn't get spent.
Really? Have we
Um,
seen that? Am I forgetting having looked at that and seeing that?
In the past, you mean, like at a
No,
previous
yeah,
time?
and as part of our deliberation this year with this article, have we seen the text of that?
No,
No, so the Article 6 in the current draft warrant
Yep.
speaks to rescinding last year's appropriation of $370,000, 200 from free cash, 170 from retained earnings.
Okay,
In my supporting statement under Article 6, which will be included in the book, I'm going to explain why we're asking to rescind that, talk about the water
Right.
meter project, how we're using alternative funding
Right.
source, and that by doing this, it frees up free cash for the library and retained earnings for the DPW water truck.
oh, okay,
That'll
so
be
you are
kind of
going to
like
mention you are going to mention those items specifically.
in the supporting statement. Yep.
Right,
And so
And-
that'll be like your first introduction to
right,
what we're
okay.
doing, I guess, if you're just reading the book.
And just go over with me the rules that apply. Could someone at that point get up and say, I propose that we use that, to put up a 35-foot high neon sign welcoming people to Nahant?
They could not. So technically that Article 6, what the article is about is rescinding last
Okay.
year's article. That article doesn't make an appropriation. It's not proposing
Okay,
a way to spend the money. It's just proposing to undo what we appropriated the money for last year.
but in your explanation, you are going to say that you contemplate using it for those things. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, in
Okay.
the supporting statement. Yep.
Okay,
And then there's an article later in the warrant that is appropriating the 100,000 of the 170 in the retained earnings that we pull back for the DPW truck. And then there's this article to appropriate the 200,000 for the
Okay.
library.
okay.
thanks, Tony. That's reassuring.
And is FinCom on board with that as far as you know, or has that not yet been discussed with them in detail?
I haven't heard any opposition, but we haven't gone through it in
Okay.
detail yet.
No, we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, but
Right.
we do have, Lynn, I think, isn't it for the 24th?
Well, Barbara, you're jumping in with my news, but yes, it's okay.
I was just answering the question. Sorry.
Yeah, yep.
She's
no,
a jumper.
She's a jumper. We are scheduled with FinCom for the 24th. So that's next Monday.
Monday,
And
okay.
so we'll be able to review our articles with them. I think if we come to a conclusion on this tonight, I will naturally send these along to Barbara and Deborah and Bob Vanderslice so they have them in advance.
Is that going to be an in-person meeting or a Zoom meeting?
Zoom usually with FinCom.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Yep. So, other comments or concerns about this article as it's being contemplated?
No, it looks good to me, Lynn. You do still have further down in there mention of the 200,000 going
I
toward.
thought I thought I had taken it out. Oh darn. I have too many of these versions to deal with. Oh, yep. I didn't take it out. Oops, cross it out.
I don't know how you do that. How do
Doesn't
you
matter.
strike? Ellen, how do you strike?
There's actually a little strikeout thing on the bar
there?
here, but anyway,
Maybe there is.
just highlight it. It's easily remembered.
Well, all right, as you say.
Okay. Otherwise, you had given me some edits on this, Paul, which I included, some copy edits. This is a very long statement, folks, and don't be surprised that our good friends at FinCom might come back and say that it's too long. As long as
Okay.
as long as you're enjoying scrolling, the other
Yes.
you'd really do a good job. So if you could go down to the clawback articles, there's one of those that I'd like to claw back. Okay, yes, this one is shown. So I heard from Trish Aldrich from Open Space and Recreation that they really would like to be able to spend this money on trail marker improvements. So I'd like to suggest that we actually remove this from the clawback. It's for a whopping $518. So don't get too crazy about it.
They can have the $3 also if they want it.
Yeah.
No. Okay, just kidding.
How do you come up with $3? But it is hanging around. I just want to clean this stuff up. One time we did 49 cents, guys. So, this is nothing. Otherwise, we had in our meeting last week and the week before actually reviewed all these articles and had approved them for moving on to FinCom and the Board of Selectmen. Can I just have a further endorsement of what we have in front of us tonight? Good old volume 4, now edited.
Well, I'd like to move to accept these articles as they are, as a what shall I say, proposed submission to FinCom. But I would give the chairman the option to respond to FinCom, or I guess before that, to bond counsel and Mr. Barletta, modifications that she feels are in the best interest of achieving the goals of this article.
Okay, Austin, you got all that?
Sorry, I did not. I was writing something else. Sorry, Paul. What was that?
I'll never remember what I said. No. What I'm trying to do is structure something we can vote yay or nay on, and hopefully get Marshall the support that we have for the sentiment in this article, understanding that there's still a step to go before Tony, speaking for or after the bond council weighs in, that he might want to make other modifications. And I'm saying that I would rest the authority of the chair to make those modifications.
Understood.
I'm
I'll second
just-
that.
Just parenthetically, I'm looking ahead, and Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there, weren't there some items that we discussed with FinCom, probably not last year, maybe it was the year before, where they had some changes they wanted us to make? And
Mhm.
did we feel that we had to come back to the committee to get the committee's approval?
Yep.
Something's tickling my memory that we did that.
Yeah, no, I think it's appropriate because the committee is then standing on town meeting floor with all of this. So I hope that it will take one meeting with FinCom, but it may not. In the past, it sometimes has taken more than one meeting.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Last
I would
year in
vote,
particular.
I would vote to accept this as written, reserving for you on the advice that you receive on the input that you receive from town administrator and FinCom to modify this
Mhm.
as you see fit.
Thank you. I got that.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
I think that's a motion. So I'd like to hear if there's a second on that motion.
I second that,
Okay.
what Paul said.
Okay.
What he said, right?
Any further discussion on that sentiment, that emotion? All right, all in favor? Paul,
Aye.
Nancy,
I,
Austin?
Aye.
I think I've lost Ellen.
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are.
I haven't moved. Aye.
Hi. All right. Chair votes aye. We're good. So I want to invite any of you who want to join me on Monday night. It starts at 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Any- And if I
And it's on
hear,
the town, and it's on the town calendar, right, Tony? Community calendar?
So we do not
If it
have,
isn't yet, it will be.
Okay, but we'll be able to get the link through there.
Yep.
Thank you.
so
May
we
I
do
jump
not
in
have a
again?
meeting for us.
It's
Maybe-
6:30, not 6:30.
oh,
Sorry,
I
Thank you.
thought it was 6.
no, 6:30. Sorry for jumping in.
No.
Oh, happy to have you.
Perfect thing to do.
Okay.
So
So
I
I'm
have-
sorry, Ellen.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I have in my calendar on the 24th that we have our own meeting at 7 o'clock that night. So is that not happening next Monday?
That is correct. I would
I was
suggest
waiting to
that
hear
gets,
what
that
we
gets
were
struck.
being asked to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
No,
I'll
yes.
follow through with that with the town clerk tomorrow and get that canceled.
Okay.
That'd be great. If we have to have a meeting after that because of whatever is going on with FinCom, I will let you know. And then if you could just kindly reserve on your calendars the 31st of March in case there is a need to return. Let's do that.
Right.
Do you know if you'll have a quorum present on Monday at the FinCom meeting?
I think that's directed to Barbara.
No, to the CPC. So if you do have quorum, it should be posted as a joint meeting.
I'm not planning to have a quorum.
All right. Then you
Who
don't
want,
need to
who,
post it that way.
who really wants to be at that meeting? Raise your hand.
I will.
Okay,
I can join you if you'd like me to be there.
okay. So that would be 3 of our committee. Does that constitute? We're a committee of 6, Tony.
No, that it's the quorum's based on the actual number of seats, not whether they're vacant or filled. So I think
Okay.
you have 9, right? Technically.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, so you'd need 5. So you're good. You don't have to do it as a joint meeting.
Yeah, and we've got this lean, hardworking crew at this point, so well, thank you, Tony, and thank you, Barbara, for joining us. Any other comments or concerns for tonight's meeting?
I think it underscores how important it is that the $200,000 be made available for this purpose. It's really critical. Without
Well-
that $200,000, this library is going to go without some very seriously needed modifications and repairs and improvements.
So based on that comment, if that for some reason doesn't pass, the amount that CPC can borrow for, you're still capped at 500. It's not like you could potentially go to
Right.
7.
No,
Well,
Okay.
the way this is drafted, that's correct.
That's why
Right.
that's why I brought it up. Like if there was a chance that if that didn't pass, that you could adjust and go to 7, you wouldn't be able to the way that this is currently drafted.
that's right.
When will we hear about the grant that was written?
That's for I think you're referring to the life-saving station grant, Nancy,
Yeah,
and we hear about that in mid-June.
okay. Thanks.
But yes, folks, I'm glad you brought that up, Nancy. That was submitted to Mass Historical Commission last Friday. Well, I don't think
We
it's
have a
quite,
motion and a second.
I know. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. And I think,
Well,
Nancy,
we're
did you
just
make that
having so
motion?
much fun, but I'll force myself. I
Did you
move we
guys
adjourn.
vote? Did you guys vote on that?
We did.
Yes, we
We
did.
did. We
Oh.
did vote.
Sorry.
It's all right, Tony. You're excused. It's time to go home and eat your supper. Play with your kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Bed.
Put them to bed. So yes, a motion to adjourn. I think I heard that coming from Nancy. Did I get that seconded?
No.
Well, I think
just
I proposed
second-
it,
I
but
just
whatever.
second Paul's
Okay.
motion.
Okay, right. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Paul,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Ellen.
Bye.
Okay. Great, folks. Well, for those who are joining us, I will actually, there's a sort of link that I can send out to you. And that's this coming Monday. And then I'll take out that errant $200,000 paragraph, which I just did, and then send that along. So I think we're good.
Great. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night now. Good night, Tony.
Good night.
Good night, Barbara.
Okay, when I hit end, you all disappear, so good night.
You have such power, Paul.
I do, but I use it wisely.